Hi, my name is Sean Bliss. I'm one of the guitar instructors here at SJVA. And today I would like to talk to you about one of the most basic right hand techniques that beginners learn and professionals use, which is alternating your fingers. In classical guitar, we use a combination of our thumb and fingers, but when we play melody notes and even harmonies, it's important to switch up our fingers to alternate per note. An idea to kind of relate to is walking. We walk with both our legs, we alternate between our legs. We can get from point A to point B by hopping on one foot, but that's not exactly efficient, same as guitar. And this application can be used in all sorts of exercises and music. For example, the one that scale that we like to start off with is C major or A minor. Do you want me to play it as such, or you guys want to move up?
You can do whatever. I mean, you can just continue with like your lesson and explanation, and then we'll go back afterward, and you'll just play it again, and we'll record it again, like with like a close up and stuff, and kind of piece them together.
Okay. So one basic way to start alternating your fingers without having to worry too much about your left hand is just to practice switching between strings, or even starting on one string. For example, we count our strings from bottom up, so this is our first string. And just to alternate on the first string gives us that motion that we're going to be using all the time in our repertoire. And it's important to get that kind of embedded and become almost second nature. Once it becomes comfortable playing on one string, alternating strings is starting to be more important, and you're going to see that when we're playing melodies. Melodies are not just played on one string. So start with just the first string, then move to the second string. And once that becomes comfortable, then move up to the third string. And you could use different kind of iterations. You could use 4 strikes on one string and move to the next, or 3. By doing so, you're going to be switching which finger will land on the next string. So for example, this is a group of 4 before moving on to the next string. Doing that, every time I start on a new string, I'll be landing on my index finger since I started with my index finger. Same could be said if I started on my middle finger. As long as you're alternating your fingers, that's the most important thing. So it doesn't matter which finger you start on. The more challenging of the two is grouping them in a sets of 3. Doing that, your fingers will, the string that you start on, the finger that you start on, the next string will be different. For example, if I start on my index finger on the first string, landing on the string next to it will be my middle finger.
Cool.
Do you want me to get into scales, or just basic alternating of fingers is important?
You could just say like, here's an example of alternating fingers with a C major scale or something, if you know.
Okay. So this is an example of applying our alternating fingers technique to a C major scale. I'm going to start on the index finger. I'm going to ascend and descend through the C major scale. And in that example, I started on my index finger and I alternated throughout, both ascending and descending, and I was able to land back on my index finger. That is just through convenience, that the scale that I chose was able to start and end on the index finger. Depending on how many octaves that you play, you may end on a different finger, but the most important thing is making sure that we alternate.
One more time.
Okay, so this is the exercise of alternating my fingers in a group of 4. this is the exercise of alternating my fingers in the group of 3. Lastly, this is alternating my fingers using the C major scale. Let me start that again.